Hey everyone. Again, I'm streaming unlisted because I'm fucking lazy, really. I don't want to edit. I don't want to have to upload, whatever. It's like one of my only days off this week, so yeah, I didn't want to spend it doing all that shit. Um, I really hadn't had anything planned for today, but I wanted to do something today, but I just wasn't sure what. So I was going to just maybe try and find like a new project, but then I came across this while it was live, and I thought, oh, but this is a live stream that I was on. This is a panel I was a part of. What the fuck is she talking about? Yeah, and also in the interest of transparency here, I should be upfront with all the viewers right now. This was a stream on Claire S. Bear's channel. Claire S. Bear is one of my mods. I have the best mods, in my opinion. I am rather partial to my mods. I'm biased. I can come right out and admit that. So I accept that maybe some of this is coming from a place of bias, but just a little. Regardless, it's not all coming from there. But I can be honest about my potential biases. I'm not sure. Anyway, the stream I am talking about is a stream that Tyra Nicholee I don't know if it's Nicole or Nicholee because there's two E's. I'm not sure. It just wrapped up like minutes ago probably on her channel. Tyra Nicholee or Nicholee. I'll put a link in the description. Well, she did a stream kind of trying to tear down the whole Enough is Enough campaign, which is right now in regard to this community. This Enough is Enough, hashtag Enough is Enough, is a stream series presented by my moderator, Claire S. Bear, on her channel, Claire S. Bear. Again, I will put a link to her channel, the stream series, in the description as well. It probably linked to one I was on, yeah. No. But yeah, I probably will. So yeah, this is what Tyra was talking about, and trying to discredit, it seems. And I'll admit, Tyra did make some points, and I want to state too, for the record, just to begin, I like Tyra. I apologize if it's Tyree, I'm not sure, but I think it's Tyra. I like her. You see, I find that there are certain personalities, or certain YouTubers, I should say. There are some whose personality I really like, and they will say and do things that kind of piss me off, but I just like them. I can't help it. And then there are some YouTubers, personalities, that don't say anything to piss me off, but I just don't like them. I won't say who that is, okay? But Tyra is one of those creators who fits in the first category, the ones who will sometimes say or do things to piss me off, but I can't help it. I still like them, you know? So I just want to say that right from the start, right from the get-go. And I know that she's been at odds with several people in the community. And the thing is she's been at odds with much of the same creators who also fall in that category for me. They may say or do things that piss me off at times, but I can't help it. I like them. So yeah, I don't know. I just want to throw that out there because I'm not trying to cause her any shit or whatever. But I do want to defend the stream, and I want to defend it because, well, like I said, it's my moderator stream series. And yeah, I was on panel. So there's that. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right to it. Okay.
I haven't said anything in a few weeks, okay? So
you should be able to hear it. I'm not playing. I didn't download it. Let me do this.
we've been doing a lot more than sleeping on. First thing I would like to say is any movement, that has people who stand behind it and, advocate, and it's for a good reason, and movements are definitely not something, that we just make for one person, right? Enough is enough is a saying we all use all the time. Enough is fucking enough. We're done. Enough is enough. But when you make a movement based on one person's enough, that's no movement. Black Lives Matter. People who put in doing that. The real enough is enough movement is real. It's not about one person. It's about all the children. I don't want...
Okay, I find this interesting because, I didn't know much about the term enough is enough, other than it's a saying. Yes, it's a saying that everyone has used. But as, in terms of a movement or a campaign, I really knew nothing about it. So I Googled it. Let me show you what I found. Okay, so I Googled hashtag is enough. So here comes up. I'm on page 2. Okay, let me go back to page 1. So, okay. This is what I was looking for. So, yes, it is. It's the name of a nonprofit organization, and it's an American nonprofit organization whose stated purpose is to make the internet safer for families and children. Okay, so it's used to make the internet safer, and Claire Stream is discussing ways to make social media safer. Social media is on the internet, last I knew. Okay, but moving on, because I'm just nowhere near done. So here we have Enough is Enough also being used with Amnesty Ireland. Okay. Also, the police union for Washington, it looks like. Enough.org. Internet safer, okay. Now.org. Isn't Now the National Organization of Women, I believe? Okay. GiveButter.com is a grassroots initiative by Asian American business owners in New York City who came together to take action on the recent surge in nationwide. I don't even. I'm kind of curious what the rest of that is about. My dog's barking. And the surge in hate crimes against the Asian American community. Okay. All right. We also have NASPA.org is a leading source of higher education for promoting peace and reducing violence. It's courage and sport. Okay, so it works with college campuses, it seems. Okay, enoughisenough.org.au. Personal responsibility for their actions and aims to promote violence prevention. Okay, and here we have fraternity and sorority life. Okay. What else? Okay, I'm not really. Okay, wait, GuideStar. Nonpartisan nonprofit with a mission to make the internet. Okay, same thing. Okay, here we go. MsMagazine.com. Campaign will also shine a light on the communities of women workers who don't make headlines when they experience sexual, okay, I'm guessing harassment, etc. Okay, so yeah, seems that Enough is Enough is associated with many organizations, with many nonprofits, with many movements, many causes. So I'm not sure why yet another cause can't take up the same. I mean, enough is enough. It's a generic across the board enough statement where I think any and every organization could pretty much use it for their cause. So, yeah, and like I said, the cause in which she's associating with the term is its main objective is to make the internet safer for children and for families. Well, how is what Claire is using it for not in line with that? I mean, it's absolutely in line with it. It's entirely in line with that. Anyway, moving on.
Want to ever hate on, rain on a parade of any movement that creators want to come together and make. Because it's always, I think, for any movement, any campaign, anything we stand up for. It's the, how do they say, like, the numbers, there's strength in numbers. And I think, movements, when things are really enough is enough, right? And, these movements are created, and a lot of creators jump on it, but not a lot of creators can jump on it because it has now been confirmed, in my opinion, that this has nothing to do with bullying, but has everything to do with hog bullying, okay?
My dog is all excited because she's going outside. That's what you heard running, trampling through the house. I'm going to forward this because when I first originally listened to the stream, I started around the 11-minute mark, so I'm going to start from there now.
to needle the fuck out of someone that I don't like because I don't like them, and I want them to react in a way that makes them look worse, and it does not stop. That is the type of behavior that, to me, falls under that umbrella.
And see, it's so simple. It's like so clean and revised sounding. That is the best point. Like, I could have never said it that way myself. That is bullying.
Nice. And I have seen you ask them to stop because it's not true. So on that point, I do think that's bullying. Now, for me, I don't think their intent is positive. I don't think their intent is to make sure Shiva has a good day. I think their intent is to cause distress and to make her to get Shiva to react so they can then, like,
the intent, and this is where, with Brad, yes, it does fit what a lot of people view as trolling, because the behaviors are so fucking similar, and the ultimate goal is to cause some type of psychological or even physical harm.
And you see, it's all about the people for them. It's all about the person who commented. It's all about the abuse that Hog has endured them. And then it's this. I don't think that the guy on panel has any connections with any of these people, and he is the only unbiased person up there. And he's got the most to say. I mean, I'm there for it.
Okay, I want to just add here. I'm looking at the chat on her stream, and I'm getting a better picture of, because when I first listened to this, I'm still a little unsure what exactly her beef is with this movement, because she just seems to want to tear it down, and I'm not sure why exactly. Well, towards the end, I get a better picture, but I just want to clear this up here. Sure, it's absolutely the actions of Roadhog that kind of maybe like gave this idea for the stream series the extra push to get it going, but it's not at all. I mean, he's not at all the sole reason. He was just the most recent and maybe the loudest in a long while example of why this needs to be discussed. Because he went way too far. Like, and this isn't about just being mean to people online or talking poorly or negatively about people. I mean, I think we all need to get over that a little bit. But this is about taking it too far. Like, when just talking shit isn't enough, when you need to go out and do something a little further to try to harm someone or try to scare them or just get to them. That's what enough is about.
I would argue that if you seem to be very much in need of an advocate yourself, I don't see how you can advocate for others. And that's not right. And just because you've been in a certain situation.
Allegedly, my conspiracy. Most of the advocates on panel need advocates for their goddamn selves. Sorry, not sorry.
What's wrong with you? You got some kind.
I don't need an advocate. I don't. There's a lot of things I need. Oh yeah, I need a ton of shit, but I don't need an advocate. I'm looking at all the other people here on stream. I don't know enough about most of them to really state whether or not they need anything. But in my experience, from what I've seen from Claire, from what I've seen from Pickle, from what I've seen from A letter T, number 2, Productions is the name of the channel that Tyra here rather likes. From what I hear from him, I don't think he needs an advocate. Kelly, I don't think she needs one. I don't think anyone here really needs an advocate. But, I mean, maybe some people on panel might, because I just don't know them that well. But I can say with pretty much certainty that Claire and Pickle, they don't need one. Because from my experience with both of them, they are very capable of speaking up for themselves and speaking up for other people, which is kind of the whole point of the stream series.
I think you know something. They actually stop. As soon as you don't stop, you're a bully. You're a harasser. I don't care what you think you're doing. That's what you're doing. They told you to stop. They actually leave it alone. Okay? As long as they don't come back at you, then you know. Now I'm not saying, because there are norms, and I'm not saying about this situation, so please. But I'm not saying when people say, oh, you're bullying me, you're harassing me, whatever, and then you stop, and the next day they come right at you. They come right before you did with some bullshit, and they try it all over again because they just can't stop. I see where some of you could get into a situation where that's happening. Just walk away because they're obviously trying to trip you up.
No comment. Usually when she talks, I don't have one, but here we go.
You're just as guilty as the person who started it.
Yeah.
Then why this video? I mean, it's her stream. If usually when she talks you don't have a comment, then I'm just confused.
And here's the thing. And she keeps saying it's not true, and I understand why. If she says it's not true, it's none of your fucking business. That's right. Because it's her business anyway. And why do you care? To what production? Are you helping? I have a great suggestion.
I'm skipping ahead through most of this.
Not with this subject. Not with this.
What is your aim besides having your asses out, people?
Okay, listen to him, just him. All the other stuff is whatever, right? If you see it, try to help, really.
to where it's not as heavy as a conversation and everything, but it's still shining a light on bad behavior, because the better sunlight, the better the disinfectant for negative behavior. You ever but then follow it up with another presentation, you get another creative improvement that just brings attention to this type of shitty, horrible behavior without that it needs to come from a third party, and the spotlight needs to be as big and fucking bright as it can be made.
You know what? This guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. You have to stop
I
being
agree.
someone who's out here to change behaviors and stand behind a movement and hashtag, but you are the same somebody who are liking, retweeting, commenting on, chatting in the same fucking behavior.
Streams I don't want to bring
Okay.
those creators in. First of all, I don't want
This is what I was talking about a few moments ago. Now, first of all, I agree. If your sole purpose on YouTube is to change behaviors, is to change negative behaviors, well, you're going to be sorely disappointed, because you will never achieve your goal. You won't even you're not even going to make any progress. I'll be honest. I think we can all be honest about that. But that doesn't mean that you ignore it or you don't talk about it. I mean, you can very easily just make it a point to call it out, to point it out when it happens, so other people can notice, and more importantly, so that the person who is at the receiving end of such behavior, they're validated. And I make comment often about how I used to be a mean girl. Well, it was social medias, Facebook in particular, that kind of opened my eyes to this and caused me to change and reflect on things. So I think it's very reasonable to say that YouTube could very well do the same for someone else. But if it does, great. If it doesn't, great. But the whole point is, nothing's going to come from it if it gets ignored and not discussed. And I want to say that she's correct. You really can't. Well, you can, but you're kind of a hypocrite if you keep talking, calling attention to certain things, but then you keep, perpetuating the same exact behavior in the things that you're calling out. But again, I want to state that enough is enough isn't about just being mean on the internet or arguing with people or disagreeing or commentating or criticizing or critiquing, whatever. It's not about that. It's about when people go too far, when simply talking shit about someone isn't enough and they need to go further because they want to create that effect in someone, because they want to harm them, they want to hurt them, they want to scare them, whatever. That's what enough is about.
them to have the PR. I don't want them to actually, get any views out of it or whatever. Most of the people that are damaged by that person actually know who I'm speaking about, and I think just about everybody does. Hopefully they do when they hear it. But I just it's hard for me to say the names, because also I don't want to look for the streams that we made or the doxing of my relatives because they got all this shit wrong. Because they're not even a really good doxer, right? I mean, the shit that they put out there is information. I do not have to prove who I am, so you feel better.
I think it's interesting that they don't want to name names because they don't want to bring light to it. But this, with Claire saying that, was the actual confirmation that this is a fucking hog movement. Can you please hashtag hog? Why are you using something like enough is enough, which is protecting kids out here online, and keeping them from being, 50 things? Make it a fucking hog movement. Don't use other shit.
Don't say there are other people. Aaron's
Because enough is enough it doesn't belong to just one movement. And again, this whole thing, what this stream was about, is it's right in line with that movement. It's about keeping things safe on the internet. And like it or not, Hogg went too far. He went way too far. And his actions could have very easily have made other people's situations, day, very much unsafe. And they still could. His actions still could do that. Hopefully, I don't think they will, and hopefully they won't, but especially since I'm one of the people he exposed in that way. But, I mean, it's right in line with that.
Like 20 different people. I think 5 different accounts all week. I'm very busy. I'm very busy. And it comes if I'm holding accounts, I don't know how I'm managing. I really don't. I don't know. I've been educated in a certain way. You're a nurse. And you're a nurse, so no, right?
Oh, honey, the gossiping is real. Are you up there to really shine light on things, or are we there to gossip? I'm just saying.
To put the meter the other way and get an award and have us acknowledge you for being a reform that reform.
See, and I could totally fall under that, reformed, bad behaviorism creator, right? Because people can change. People can really want to do better. Anyone can work at it and do better. But when are the folks on panel going to do the work they're preaching?
They're only getting 1,000.
That part right there. Who says that we're not? Who says that people on panel aren't doing the work that they're preaching. Not every step in which to better oneself and their behavior online and their interactions with other people is going to be done on a public stage. I mean, I would argue that most of it is going to be done within oneself. So you're not going to see it. You'll see the fruits of the labor of putting the work in. You won't see the actual work itself. So, and again, who says that we're not? I mean, I like to think that I probably fall much shorter than I realize, but I like to think that I'm on a good day capable of self-reflection. I know Clara is. I know Whisper of a Thought is. Commentary Kelly, I haven't had much interaction with her, but I would think that she is, because she just seems like a down-to-earth person. Pickle, I believe, is. And the AT2 guy, yeah, just by judging from everything he said on that panel that night, I would say that he is.
But anyway, I'm thinking there's nothing to do. It's alright, at least I'm doing what I want while I'm going there. But anyway, okay, just saying, a couple more comments.
You know, it's all about them and their friends and the rants of me, being a bunch of hard asses. What?
You actually do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may be because of the fact that Claire's friends with a lot of people who were directly affected by Hug, that she gave her like this final kick in the ass to do the series. But it wasn't all the reason. You know, it was just the most recent reason, and probably the most loudest reason in a while. So yeah, I mean, who isn't going to take action on behalf of their friends now and then? Who isn't going to do that? There's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's usually the inspiration for why most people do anything is because of loved ones.
And y'all will do better, and we'll see it, you know, and we'll recognize it, and I'm sure I always get raised if you're doing better when you're trying, even though they're trying to struggle, because we're all human, I'm not going to blame you for hell no, I'll keep being an asshole, I'm not going to blame you for everything, just kidding, actually, but it's only every
What am I doing on the forehead?
Do better for them, so you get or don't get their awards they're giving out, right? But I wonder how many people on panel in that chat would dare nominate themselves, you know? Why wouldn't they nominate themselves? I'm just saying, am I wrong?
Listen, we're all human.
Oops.
Do better, right? Do better. That's what we need to do. We need to do better. Past behaviors versus today's behaviors. But they're talking about somebody who has not been online for 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Sure, I don't know if I was on Twitter. Maybe that's a thing, and I'm thinking, But let's talk about behaviors, right? So we got this here. I sent this.
I'll get to this in a second. But yeah, he hasn't been online for close to 2 weeks. And the fact that people are still affected by his actions when he was online should tell you just how far he went in his actions when he was online. And I mean, it's to the point where people are still reeling from it. That doesn't make them wrong. Maybe that just makes the actions of that person or the person's actions online, whatever, that fucking wrong. That far. That enough is enough worthy.
This morning. Shay, did Tyra admit that she broke Twitter terms of service to access tweets of those who have her blocked? And I think I don't know, I think that's just my link. And then here comes Commentary Kelly. Did you see her up on that stream? I sure did. I synced her, honey. I think I'm doing this video right now.
I'm not sure if that's a Twitter term of service, to be honest with you. And I would like to point out to anyone who does take issue with it, pretty much every single one of us is blocked by Katie Joy. Probably on multiple platforms. Like, I know I myself am blocked on Twitter, on a couple accounts on Twitter, actually, on Instagram. I was blocked on Facebook, but I'm not blocked on Facebook anymore. So if the majority of us here in this community are blocked by Katie Joy, but yet somehow we still make it a point to access her posts and shit, well, then we're doing the same exact things. So I don't see the point in pointing out that, I don't know, someone else from near in this community or whatever is doing the same exact thing we're doing, but just doing it to someone that we know. I mean, it's no different. So I would hope people just, you know, don't really make a big deal about it. I want to say though too, oh wait, I'll get to, I don't think she's mentioned it yet.
And I guess this is how we reply to 7 ladies. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 ladies. who have been bullying the fuck out of me behind my back on Twitter.
How does one bully someone behind their back? I mean, maybe I'm just ignorant in this regard, but like bullying, to my knowledge, the person has to know about the bullying in order to be bullied, I would think. So if it's done behind their back, then you're saying that it's done without their knowledge. It's not done to them, to their face. It's done, in the shade, whatever. So I'm not quite sure what that means. And also, too, I want to point out again, bullying is not just simply talking shit about someone. Like, you have to, it's a certain kind of shit talking. You have to want to or be trying to incite people to hate on a person, to act on their hate, to cause the other person problems and upset. Simply just discussing your opinions is not bullying, in my opinion.
I'll link my Twitter video below too. Make sure you check that out. Some of y'all are giving me just the laugh I needed on this on Monday. I thank each and every one of your petty asses, and I'm so fucking happy to know y'all. Really? So you talk about self-love. You are advocating for a movement. Okay, that's what you're doing. I just showed it. You're up on all these panels. You watch them do it. I know you're behind a locked account, but you watch them do it, and you like it. You reply to it. You have something to say about it, and let's make sure that we also thank them for a laugh, because you're so happy to have their petty asses in your life. This is enough is enough. Because let me tell you something. If I was standing behind an anti-genders of people around me that I knew could, would, and should stick to those things, and we would have panels and talk about blah, 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 I wouldn't be on Twitter fucking with none of these crazy bitches, okay? I wouldn't do it. I'm not advocating for a movement, though. I would definitely have to do way better, sugarcoat my content, all them things. I won't stand behind an anti-bully movement ever when we are just doing it for one person. Trust and believe. I don't think Hog is any way, shape, or form in the right in any way, shape, or form. But why are you pressing a movement that really fucking means something? I showed you what enough is for. It's been around a very long time to protect children.
This is the gatekeeping part where I have an issue with, because, I mean, only people who have spotless records on social media can be part of a movement or part of a cause. I mean, if that's the case, then no one could be part of it, because everyone's got some. First of all, the definition of fucked up shit on their profile or on social media is subjective. We're all going to have different I don't know, different guidelines, different values that we apply to what people put up on their social media. So what upsets me may not upset you, and vice versa. So yeah, that's just how it is. So no one is ever going to meet the requirements that she's placing on social media and their activity on social media to represent a movement, in her opinion. You can't do that. And really, who'd want to? Because then it'd be, if you're trying to push a movement and you're pushing it from a place of perfection, everyone who's watching and looking at what you're doing to push this movement is going to fall short from the perfection, and they're going to figure, why bother? So yeah, you have to be relatable.
Violence against people on the gosh damn internet. But we are going to use that movement against one person who has...
No one's using a movement. It's a saying, enough is enough. Everyone says it. I just showed you several movements who use the term.
Been on YouTube for weeks. And I promise you, you know I'm fucking right, my humble opinion. When he comes back, if he addresses them, a lot of them are going to go deaf silent. They're going to hold on to it for a month. They're going to be so sad. They're going to not stand on enough is enough a single day more. I'm tired of the hypocrisy in this motherfucking streets. In this world, I wanted to say, but the hypocrisy on YouTube far exceeds hypocrisy in real life. It always will. I talked about writing a fucking book. It would be a New York Times bestseller. I would make thousands. I'd buy a fucking house.
I would say that statement accurately applies to more things than just hypocrisy, because when people are online, it's less personal. There's less accountability. there's less consequence. So people are going to feel more brazen. They're going to not value or place much importance on the effects of their actions because they're not faced with the effects of their actions. So I would argue that this applies to in more ways than just hypocrisy. I mean, yeah. And I mean, and even if the people pushing this movement right now for these reasons in a month just decide to kind of back off from it, so what? I mean, at least it was done for a month. At least these things were brought to light for a month. That's better than not at all.
With a book about these YouTube streets, we have a fucking movement. Claire Bear, she talks real crazy when she's over by EKC. Kelly, I just showed you. Kelly's the same way. She loves the shit. As long as it's not about Roadhog, they can behave that way. As long as nobody else is bullied or bullying except Roadhog, it's okay. There are...
Who's bullying Roadhog? Like, seriously, I'm not saying that it's not possible or that it's not happening. I'm sure that it is. And yeah, that's wrong too. But I'm kind of curious though what I want to hear Roadhog say, stop bullying me. Okay, maybe that's bullying me to say it, but you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. You know, because he went too far. He went way too far. And you know what? He needs... A lot of people are going to want to see accountability. They're not going to see it. I know they're not going to see it. And he doesn't have to offer it. But people, every day he doesn't show and accept accountability for his actions that went too far will be just another day that he is perpetuating the effect he has placed on people in this community. Because that may not be a form of bullying, but it's definitely just perpetuating the asshole behavior. You know, I mean, like it or not, social media is like one big giant community, okay? And how we interact with each other is going to spill over. It's going to affect other people around us on social media and other communities and other platforms even. I mean, we're seeing this now with YouTube and Twitter. You know, the difference in a lot of people's behavior, like say Katie Joy, for example, the way she acts on Instagram, the way she acts on Twitter, and the way she acts on YouTube. Like, these are 3 different personalities almost. So, I mean, these affect other platforms. Just like this happens in real life. Your actions affect those around you, other communities. Okay? So when someone like Roadhog comes in and he goes too far and he doesn't take accountability, not only is he setting the stage for people to come up after him and showing them how it's done, basically, to do it and get away with it, and had people making streams about you defending your actions, well, that's going to spill over. That's going to have an effect. And before you know it, it's going to have a domino or cascading effect, however you want to put it. And in the same regard, showing accountability, showing remorse, showing penance, whatever, that's going to have an effect too. That's going to have an opposite effect than not showing it. That's going to show other people how it should be done, how it's okay to admit you're wrong. It's okay to say you're sorry. You're not going to lose your shit. You're not going to be less of a person. You're going to be the exact opposite. You're going to get more shit. You're going to be more of a person. So I forget where I was going with all this. I really do. So this is probably why a lot of people are still talking about Roadhog, because no one's expecting him to show accountability. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not either. And a lot of people are still really upset, you know? I mean, I think people have every right to be upset. And kind of telling them they don't have a right to be upset and express being upset, I don't think that's validating their feelings. I think that's kind of downplaying them.
Creators around me, multiple fucking creators around me, who follow all of these women, who are friendly with most of these women, who talk about me in DMs. I see them. But they're going to advocate for a movement. They need advocates themselves because they can't even advocate for their damn selves. They don't even...
People can talk about you in DMs. Like, I'm sorry, Tyra, but get over it. People can talk... You can talk about me in DMs. You can talk... They're DMs. Okay, I mean, I would even argue that you can talk about people out in the open, out in public, on Twitter, whatever. I would hope that some things, some particularly maybe bad things might be reserved for DMs, but I mean, whatever. You can say whatever you want about people. You can give your opinion. You can say, I think she's a bitch. I think she's a piece of shit. What she did the other day was dumb as fuck. Okay, whatever. People can say that. That's not bullying. That's giving an opinion. And you have every right to clap back, I guess. I mean, that's interacting with people. This is how we learn from one another. This is how we also set our boundaries. I mean, this is how we're real.
They know how to think for themselves. As long as it's not about Roadhog. Enough is enough movement won't have nothing to say. Especially if you don't like Tyra, why wouldn't you laugh with them? Why wouldn't you be all interested in them striking Tyra? I need people to really look into TOS. Your tweets are not copyrighted, bitch. And what?
I really hope no one's fucking striking her for tweets. I mean, maybe I should have looked into this a little bit more before I started just talking shit about this. But if what she's saying is true, like, really, like, come on. I hope not. I really hope not. I get it if you don't like her. I get it, and I get it. You want to lash out at her or whatever. I mean, I understand feeling that way about someone, but I mean, you have to keep your head on about you. You can't do shit like that and think that you're immune from having it done to you. So for everyone who fought so hard to get Real taken off the platform and then off of other platforms, you should know that people may very well come for you next.
Twitter accounts don't mean a goddamn thing. Ain't nobody breaking TOS because me and my 2 Twitter accounts, people are out there with 50. People get fucking banned from Twitter and they're on their fucking 10th Twitter ban new account. Fuck out of here. Fuck your locks. Fuck all of it. You know what I'm saying? Because you are on the internet. Do you know how many people are fucking reaching out to me worried because they are seeing what is happening on Twitter? That's all they're seeing. It has nothing to do with my videos, nothing to do with anything happening on YouTube. People are getting DMs trying to get their opinions to change, right? There's whole days of Twitter twatting about Tyra. We have to make sure everybody thinks these things. Anti-bully movements, fucking laughing. It's funny. But it's because it's Tyra, right? She's so polarizing. She's such a bad person.
See, I get that a lot of people don't like Tyra. And, there's been some things that she said or done that I thought were kind of fucked up or whatever. But, I mean, if you listen to her explain where she's coming from most of the time, it starts to make a little bit more sense. And though I still don't agree with much of what she said or done, I don't fault her for it nearly as much as maybe I did before hearing her speak on it. And it's another point of view. And just because I don't agree with it doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't invalidate the point of view. And I think her point of view on many issues is just as important as anyone else's. Because I think on many issues, she's one of the outliers. She's one of the people who will look at things the way the majority of people don't. And for whatever reason that is, I don't know why it is she does this, if this is just something natural or if this was something taught or learned throughout her life or whatever. But everyone needs the outliers. We need the outliers, okay? We need to understand the people who don't think like us, because we live in the same world with the people who don't think like us. And we're going to have a hard time moving on from things or bettering anything or improving things if we don't understand the people who don't think like us. And when I say the people who don't think like us, I mean that's across the board. Like the people who she needs to do this too for the people who don't think like her. I need to do it for the people who don't think like me, and etc. It goes across the board because none of us, there's no way all of us are going to think the same. So there's always going to be someone who doesn't think like us, and we need to understand that. And like I said, I think when it comes to a lot of these issues here on YouTube or social media, Twitter, whatever, I think that there is a majority all the time. There's a majority think all the time with every issue. Who's in that majority may change from time to time, but there's always a majority. And it's the outliers that I think that kind of bring about the most, or they open the door the most for people to understand and for people to change from it. So I think on many issues, she's one of the outliers. So I don't agree with much of what she does or says. But that doesn't make her wrong. Like, that doesn't even make her wrong and compare it to me in my own mind. You know, it's just different.
She bullies people. You guys, it has been 1 against 10. No, let's be for real. It has been 1 against 3, okay?
Here's where I gotta call a little bit of bullshit here. Because from what I have seen from Tyra in the past, she's done more than her fair share of bullying. Now, May mentioned early in the stream how she's changed or whatever. You know, she's realized things. Okay, that may be the case. I'm not arguing that. But in the same regard, it may take other people a little bit longer to accept this as fact, you know, than it's taken her to accept as fact. And that's something I think she should maybe, you know, be a little bit more sympathetic to. I haven't seen a whole bunch of people gang up on her, but I can imagine that it's something like that's going on because, you know, she has been a polarizing figure on YouTube for quite often. So I imagine that she's angered a lot of people. And I imagine that over time, these people are going to find each other. And, you know, when she makes some noise, those people are going to band together and then they're going to try to quiet her up. So I don't doubt that she's experienced this. I don't think either side is wrong necessarily because they have their reasons for doing it. I agree with their intent behind shit, but I think she should be more sympathetic to that, and I think other people should remember how it is she made them feel before they turn around and try to inflict that feeling in other people, even if it's her. And I just realized, I get it. I'm a hypocrite. I know I am. I know. I'll be the first one to admit it because, you know, I should just shut the fuck up and take my own advice sometimes. I know. But it's my channel, so I'm talking now.
Then turned into 1 against 12. Yup. Then that shit, over a year, right, has turned into 1 against 20. And today, a year later, it's like me against 30 to 50 fucking people, and I'm the bully.
But why is that, Tyra? Like, if you feel like everyone is against you, and I don't, like, for argument's sake, let's say you're right. Let's say there's 100 people against you. Why is that? Why is that? Do you think maybe there's something you could do to change that? You know, I'm not saying that every 100 of the people have justified reasons to be against you or so against you. I'm not saying that, but I'm guessing that the majority of people have a reason, at least in their mind, if nowhere else, to feel the way they do. And that's something right or wrong, that's something I would want to focus on. By the way, I'm not against you. Even if you get the impression I am after this, I'm really not. I'm not.
I'm the bully. You can't make this up. And if anyone expects me not to have these strong opinions, because these are sweet creators. These are creators that want to make a change.
I emphatically agree with that. Oh my God. Like, you put it beautifully. You have your own opinions. And if anyone expects you to not have them because these are sweet creators, holy shit, dude. Like, it's like you just explained my entire, 2021. You really did. Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one. Because sweet people are just as much of assholes as the next person. Assholes are just as much of assholes as sweet people. It's just how it is. Everyone's a fucking asshole. Everyone has the capability of being huge assholes. It doesn't matter how nice you are when you know the camera's on.
These are creators putting in the time and effort to talk shit and gossip. If it wasn't for that man on that number 3, enough is enough, I wouldn't have had anything to clip. I literally am doing this video because there are things to clip from it finally. I don't believe them. They are all sheep. And that's just my personal opinion. There's a couple of them up there that are some leaders, honey. I'm just saying, there's a couple of them. I've seen that. I've seen it. But the rest are sheep. You don't hear them talk. They don't fucking give you nothing to the conversation. They don't know how to think for themselves, let alone advocate for themselves.
Though I disagree with that, but who cares? For argument's sake, let's say you're right. Let's say that there have been, let's say that just for a figure, that half the people on this stream series panels, let's say half of those people are all sheep. Let's just say you're right there. Well, then, see, here's when people complain about sheep, which I don't get. If you're right and all these people are sheep, well, then you have a group of people that you can influence, that you can sway, that you can make an impression on. So why not utilize that? Instead of sitting back and calling them sheep and making them feel like shit for it, why not just try and use it for good? You know, although I disagree that all these people are sheep, but like, if you're right, you know, try to do good with it.
In any way, shape, or form, but they want you to hit up their DMs if you have been abused. If you need to talk. But do you know, in the next breath, they say, we get so many DMs, and there's nothing we can do, and it hurts my feelings, and it makes me cry that all of you are being so abused. We're going to make a movement. We're going to stand behind a real movement, a real hashtag, to garner views based on that hashtag.
I'm not sure what she's referring to there. I mean, I think all of us get DMs from time to time from people for whatever reason, and it's usually oftentimes bitching about something you did or something someone else did or whatever. Sometimes it's to give compliments, but usually it's bitching. So I mean, these movements, all of these nonprofit movements, even the one for the internet and the kids and the families and everything, this movement doesn't exist necessarily to stop the people perpetuating the problem, because you can't stop that. You can't control that. All you can do is be a safe haven for those affected by the behavior causing the afflictions. And you can try to protect yourself from falling victim to it. That's why these movements exist. And so, I mean, people saying we need to do something about it, they're not going to do anything about it. They can't. It's impossible. The only thing they can do is be there for the people who are affected and to try to get the word out, to spread awareness so people can can take the necessary steps to protect themselves from being affected by the thing causing the problem.
When people click, they're clicking right off. Not very many people are watching it, okay? I need everybody to just take a fucking stand back, man. The only people who are buying enough is enough is any and everybody who hates hog. Did you really have to use enough is enough? How about sub boss hog? That's a good fucking Twitter fucking, I'm sorry, that's a good hashtag if you ask me. That's what the fuck you're doing. You're trying to stop boss hog. That's a great fucking hashtag. I don't get it.
I think there could be a very good hashtag. It could be. I'm not one for cancel culture, and I'll be honest, I never reported the stream he did where he doxed me, mostly because it was taken down before I, could get to it to make the report. And I probably would have, but I didn't race to go do it. I mean, I'm not chomping at the bits to have anyone canceled for any reason, even that. And that's me. That's my own fuck up. I don't know. So I don't agree with cancel culture at all. But I mean, if we have someone though that we know of who interacts with many of the people we interact with, who is going out of their way to expose their personal details, in hopes that someone will do some shit. And before you say anything, I saw, well, you may not have seen it because I'm going to bet that you and Braken don't follow each other on Twitter, but I'll ask, I want to post this video that she has posted on her Twitter. The way Roadhog is talking to Natalie, the crazy chick from the lawsuit there with Katie Joy, he was absolutely putting this information out there because he wanted some bad shit to happen. He wanted to sit back and see it happen. He wanted to weaponize people against one another. So now, if there's ever been an acceptable reason to report someone or to suggest that someone's fucking up and doesn't follow along with TOS, I don't know of a better one than that. So, again, I may be biased here because, I don't really like the guy at all, so.
Get it. And I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want the controversy of, oh my God, Tyra's talking about such nice people. I see through people's bullshit for a goddamn living my entire life. I love when people show me who they are. In fact, I love that. I love.
See, here's the thing. Everyone she's listed, though, that she's shown either from the tweet or talking about on the panel or whatever, I have no doubt that they've all done some fucked up shit. I know I have. I'm sure Claire has. I'm sure Commentary with Kelly has. I'm sure Whisper of a Thought even has, okay? And I say even has because he just seems like he couldn't hurt a fly, but I'm sure he has. We all have, okay? But I'm willing to bet that none of us have done the shit that Roadhog has done. So I don't really think it's fair to compare the two. I don't really think it's accurate to combat the bad shit about Roadhog with the bad shit about the people involved with the stream in this panel, because it doesn't compare.
Love that for me, which is why I don't give anything but surface level until you show me. I've been burned a couple times, sure, but not in the way where I wasn't able to have that surface level. It's just the way they work out. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try to do what's right on a person.
Okay, and I want to point out too here in the chat, because the way she's talking and everything about how, like, people don't really have a right to call out bullying or, call attention to it or to ask for it to end or whatever when they themselves are doing shit. Okay, well, let's look over here in the chat here next, this her live chat. And this is one of her moderators, but you can tell by the blue, or the, it's the blue and the wrench right here. They be clipping and blackmailing, allegedly. Who? I'm guessing this person's talking about the people that Tyra's talking about in her stream. And who's blackmailing? Blackmailing's a fucking crime, if we want to get technical about this, but I may digress there. That seems like a fucked up thing to say without any kind of proof or whatever. And she can tell that it's followed up with the allegedly, that she probably doesn't have any fucking proof about it, because why would you then say allegedly? So it just seems like this is also a bully tactic, trying to accuse people and tell people and convince people how this other group of people did these acts that could potentially be considered crimes. So, I mean, in the same sense that we all may be hypocrites, well, you're calling out people, like, you're passing judgment on people who are trying to call out bullying, saying that they have no right to call it bullying because of bullying. Meanwhile, you're sitting here and you have this chat right here next to you who's kind of fucking showing signs of bullying. So, I mean, are we all hypocrites? I argue that, yes, we are. However, that doesn't make it wrong to call out shit behavior when shit behavior goes too far.
Person-to-person basis, if you continue to do shit that shows me who you are, if I had a real connection with you, I'll explain myself and I'll tell you why. If we never fucked with each other like that at all, and there was no connection, there was no any friendship, it is also my right to choose to not fucking give you a letter F for fuck you. I don't have to explain myself.
Correct.
I'm not a bad person because people are crossing my fucking boundaries.
I completely agree with that.
And I am choosing who I want to explain myself to because I feel out of respect. I want them to know why I'm not fucking with them anymore. And no matter what I do, I try it one way, then I do it the other way, they're both wrong. No matter what I say, I try two different ways, they're wrong. And that's what happens to people like me who do get bullied for a year. We start to question our own selves. Am I really terrible? Am I really not growing? What work am I not putting in? What more can I do? I'm doing this, and none of it's good enough. No matter what I do, I have been bullied for a year, and the amount of people continues to grow. Nobody, no fucking body in a year has ever come out their mouths to say they are bullying the fuck out of Tyra.
Again, I want to point out, like, you're going to have a hard time finding people who will speak on your behalf when the things that people are saying about you, some of them, it's not untrue. And when you yourself have shown and demonstrated some of the same behavior, at least that's been my opinion of some of the things you've said and done. Personally, I don't care to come at you for it because I don't care to really come on most people for human, I don't know, shit that's just any of us being human or whatever. And I don't think you're a bad person. I emphatically don't think you're a bad person. So, but I don't know again, this is subjective, what their experience with you has been like. And I can't speak for everyone. All I'm saying is just from what I've seen, I think you're going to have a hard time finding people to come and speak on your behalf or in your defense when, it's, I mean, I've seen you kind of bully people or come at people, and I think the main reason why, I think that though I believe that you have tried to come at some people, for some reason it wasn't successful. I don't know why, but it just wasn't successful for some reason. So I think that maybe a lot of people haven't seen much of it. I don't know. I get what you're saying, and I hope that people do see that everyone deserves to have someone speak on their behalf. Everyone deserves to have someone stick up for them, because, like it or not, if a behavior or an action is wrong, then it's wrong. There may be certain circumstances where something can be right or whatever, but when you're causing harm on someone, is it really ever right? So just because you feel justified in being a bitch to someone, and not you in the general sense, just because you feel justified in being a bitch to someone doesn't make it right. You're not justified, because being a bitch is still being a bitch. Okay? And if it is somehow justified, then you have to expect that other people are going to have justification to do it right back at you. That's just how it goes. And I think that that's something that we all need to realize and acknowledge. And I think that that's something you maybe have faced or experienced, is that the consequence of some of your actions, and I think that some of your actions may have been the consequence of other people's actions. At some point you stop wondering who made the first shot. It doesn't even matter anymore at this point who went first, who did what first. What matters is just, if you want it to stop, you have to first stop it within yourself. And you may claim that you have, and I don't know, maybe you have, okay? And if you have, great. But if I don't know that you have, then there's a good chance other people don't know that you have, and they're still harboring and holding on to shit that they've had for a while. So, I mean, like, I made reference to me being a mean girl and shit, and, I guarantee you that there's still people out there who hate my fucking guts. I guarantee it, and I don't blame them. And if they talk shit about me, I know enough by now that for me to attack them for it or come at them for it, it shows that I haven't changed. So if I were to hear about someone talking mad shit about me, someone who I harmed in the past, then the best way I can show that I've changed is to leave it alone.
So I do understand when Tyra decides to react. I do see where it's coming from, because at this point we all see it. Enough is enough is a fucking sham. Enough is enough shouldn't be laughing with these kind of people. Enough is enough shouldn't act a different way when they're on somebody else's platform, where they become fucking cute asshole, haha, and then the next thing you know, they're a gangster ass bitch. As long as they're not on their channel, very that. I'm gonna shut the fuck up, because clearly, oh my god, almost 40 minutes. This shit, man, really, I'm glad I got it out today, because now I'm gonna feel free. Have a great day, guys.
All right, I'm just going to wrap this up by saying that I think that there was more to the stream than I realize or I know. I think that there's more fueling Tyra than I know. I'm not going to go looking for it, though, either, because me learning about it, me talking about it is only going to perpetuate it. So, but I am going to say that though I disagree with Tyra on some things, and, biased or not, I disagree with her. There are some things I emphatically agree with her on. So... And I hope she knows that I don't hate her, and I hope that no one hates her, really. But I get it, though, if people just had, a bad interaction with her, and they're holding on to that. Dude, that's your damage. No one can tell you what to do with your damage but you. You dictate what to do with your damage, when to let it go, when to get over it, when to accept an apology, whatever. That's all on you, okay? That's your business, and we should all support one another and trust one another to handle our own damage. You know what I mean? We don't have a right to tell anyone what to do with their damage. So, I just want to put that out there. But damage or not, I hope that people aren't causing the same damage in anyone, whether that person be the one who caused your damage. You know what I mean? I hate to say, like, two wrongs don't make a right or whatever, but I mean, it's kind of true, though. But mostly, I want to say that if what you're going to complain about, you yourself are doing, then you're always going to have shit to complain about. because it's never going to end. Every time you do the same shit, you're helping to keep it going. You're helping to feed that shit to go on. The only way that you can make a difference possibly and stop the shit is to stop the shit. You have to stop feeding it. You have to stop keeping it going. You have to just stop it within yourself, and eventually it will spread. So that's all I have to say about the stream. And like I said, I know I may be biased because it's my mods, my friends. I keep calling them mods or whatever, but they're my friends, I'll be honest. So they're my friends, and I was on that panel, and I get it. I'm biased probably, but like I said, it's my channel. All right. Bye.